right, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in today to another episode of What the Fitness. And I am with two very special guests. I am with sisters Jenny and Heather from sporkfoods.com. Jenny is actually a vegan certified chef, gourmet chef, correct?
Yeah.
But both of you guys are proud vegans and
Absolutely.
have an amazing business of helping to spread the word of veganism and teach people how they can actually enjoy food. You know, it's not just about eating tofu and vegetables all the time. You can actually have some really high quality, amazing dishes.
Definitely, we agree with that. We love tofu, but it's not appropriate all the time.
There you go. So we're going to talk a little bit more about it because as a vegan myself, I get so many questions. And I was just glancing over y'all's videos one day and was like, oh my gosh, I've got to talk to these ladies. Because not only were you providing me with great information, I was like, wow, this is exactly the questions that I get that people need to know. So first, awesome. I just kind of like to start off asking about y'all's journey. Heather, you became a vegan about 15 years ago, 12 years ago?
Yeah, I became vegan. Actually, we both became vegan in college.
Okay.
And we were environmental science majors. And, you know, once we made the connection between what's going on with the environment and our, you know, our food supply and all of that, we decided immediately that we didn't want to take part in it anymore. So that inspired us to go vegan, was really for environmental reasons at the very core and at the very beginning. And then once we learned about all the animal suffering that goes on and just how much better it is for your body, we got really inspired to just start cooking. And back then, you know, about 14, 15 years ago, there weren't nearly as many options. So we were really forced to get cooking in the kitchen. And that's really what started our journey.
I mean, all these products that you see out there on the store shelves, there was nothing like it. I mean, there was only tofu and veggies at the time when we started.
And some rice ice cream.
Like, another portobello mushroom.
Yeah, the products have come so far since then, and that's very lucky for people now, but it also allows you to dive into being more of like a junk food vegan if you want to. So we do emphasize eating whole foods and, you know, trying to get the natural stuff in there, but make it in a really gourmet way so people that aren't vegan necessarily will enjoy it.
Exactly. Awesome. Now, when you were making that transition, when you kind of decided through your education, like, okay, I'm going to try this vegan lifestyle, was it like overnight all of a sudden you just tossed the chicken out and the eggs, or did you do more of a gradual process?
For me, it started in 6th grade. I had a friend that loved pigs, and he was like, I'm not going to eat pigs. And I was like, then I'm not eating pigs. And then I was like, well, I'm not eating red meat anymore. Like, that was my thing in 6th grade, and then vegetarian in high school, and then vegan in college. So it was more gradual for me. Heather had a little bit of a quicker transition than I did.
Yeah, I was really inspired to go vegetarian first. I had a roommate in college that was asking me why I was eating cheeseburgers, and then it got me thinking, you know, this is actually totally disgusting. That coupled along with my education in environmental science really inspired me. So it was sort of more overnight. There were, you know, I think the bottom line is sort of, is it hard? Is it easy? You know, how did you guys do it? I think for everyone it's very different.
Yes, for sure.
We're all on our own path. We're all having our own journey. And, you know, my sister and I have a deep level of respect for where everyone is. You know, everyone sort of is introduced to this way of life in a different way from a different person, or just it calls their name. I mean, we have a lot of actually breastfeeding mothers that are feeding their babies their breast milk, and they have a revelation that it is inappropriate to feed a child or feed themselves cow milk because it's meant for a baby cow.
Exactly. I've actually done a lot of blog posts just on that. That we're the only species that eats milk or drinks milk from a different animal.
Pretty wacky.
It's also meant to grow a tiny baby calf into hundreds of pounds, you know, heavy cow.
Exactly.
I mean, if you think about that, do you want to have those kinds of foods in your body that are meant to encourage your growth beyond your, you know, we don't need to grow.
I don't want to be 800 pounds.
I don't want to be this high.
Well, and like, you know, they show in research that after I think it's 2 years of age, the natural bacteria and the natural enzymes in your body that are made to break down breast milk actually fade away. So, I mean, that's your body's natural way of saying, as an adult, you've been weaned. You know, you're not supposed to continue putting down breast milk down your body. Exactly.
Yeah.
Very cool.
We all love comfort, but there's so many other ways to get it.
Exactly. But I love that you stress that everybody's different. I was more like you, Heather. I just kind of woke up one day. I was like, I'm going to do this. And I was vegan the next day. Some people take more of the gradual approach and, they need that. I'm always been a much more of either it's all in or it's not in at all. All or
well,
nothing.
it's really inspiring, I'm sure, for a lot of people to see that you can be really into fitness. You can be really into your body and muscle building and understanding tone and protein and all of that. You're such a great resource for people because we get that question all the time, as you get questions all the time about, enough protein, building body mass, being able to exercise properly without being tired.
Right.
So, I mean, you're such a great resource for that. I'm sure a lot of our students are going to come your way and ask you some questions.
Well, thanks. See, together we're the power team.
Yeah,
There you
sure.
go. I read somewhere one of y'all's mottos is healing ourselves from the inside. What exactly does that mean?
I mean, we both believe that, of course. I mean, if her motto is anything, it's my motto too. We're sisters and we do everything at the same time. We talk at the same time. So we have, that philosophy together. Basically, we believe that anything you put into your body is fuel for the body. If you're eating foods that have been around for thousands of years, like ancient grains, and you're eating, kale that has been sustaining people for so long, then you're not going to go wrong. Right. People are scared now of even fruit because of the carbs.
Exactly.
And we're like, it's natural. It's been around for thousands of years, sustaining people, and you will feel good if you're eating foods from the earth that have been around forever. I mean, that's the bottom line.
And also, we in our classes, yes, we teach people how to cook, and that's a very important component, but we're also teaching people what these ingredients are doing in their body. For instance, the fact that basil has antispasmodic properties in it, so it can help get rid of tension headaches or muscle cramps and things like that. These are things that we weren't taught in school. We didn't even learn how to write a resume or cover letter in school. I have a problem with the system myself. But, these are things that we think are really exciting and inspiring.
Just understanding what your food is to you rather than just a meal.
Right.
In so many restaurants and in so many types of cuisine that's promoted today, it's like bacon this and hardcore, animal parts. And we just find that so sad because it's not really a sustainable way of living for people, and it's not meant to heal your body. And it might be popular because it's like an extreme eating kind of situation, but when you really want to live a high quality life and feel good, there's no reason that you should have to consume these things, and they're not going to do your body right over time.
Exactly.
I mean, there's going to be repercussions. So
I always just try to use the example of trying to fill a normal car with diesel. You fill a car with diesel, you're going to get to the end of the driveway and you're going to stall out. And that's what happens if you fill your body with a whole bunch of crap. You're going to make it through the end of your driveway and you're going to wish that you had more crap to put into it. As opposed to if you put in the high quality foods, the real premium gasoline, you're going to do a lot better for yourself in the long run.
You're totally right. I think we see that in our classes. We have a lot of younger women that come. We also have a lot of older men who have sort of had the health problems and have been dealing with either cancer, diabetes, or heart disease or something like that, that have now made the connection between food and health. And now they're here, they're there with their spouses coming to us and saying, teach me how to eat. I never learned how to do this properly. And really, we aren't taught. Our parents teach us, or sometimes they don't. And
we teach
that's
our
what,
parents now.
Exactly.
That's what we're here for, is sort of to fill in the gap from what we didn't get to learn before.
Do you feel like, this is just a question I just thought of when you said that, do you feel that a lot of times women are more on the preventative side of things when it comes to their health, while men kind of takes something happening to them where the doctor's like, you need to make a change before they start taking action?
No, we've seen it all. We really have seen it all. Sometimes in a relationship, it's a man that gets a woman interested in veganism because they're an animal activist, or it is, someone that has a health concern. In general, women, seem to be interested in the more compassionate side to animals, just in a broader sense, but there are many men in our classes that have that sentimentality
Absolutely.
too. So we can't really, say that it's a majority of women, but yeah, I mean, I think that it's a little bit more heavy on the woman's side of things.
Sometimes we'll find that if we really want to change a man's mind who's having a hard time with it, giving them a copy of the China study, sort of the scientific background really helps.
Yeah.
That's actually what changed. That's actually what fueled me into it.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I mean, they resonate more with like the scientific evidence of
in the most general of terms and never across the board.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna, make a generalization.
Right.
Also, like, we tell any guy that, coming to a cooking class of ours, there's a bunch of hot ladies that are interested in health and fitness and eating vegan and cooking. And so if they ever want to meet a lady, like, it's a really good idea.
That's a fabulous idea.
A single man who's into health should be coming to our club.
Oh, yeah.
We can't believe that more aren't just coming on their own to our club. It's crazy.
You need to create a dating dating event one day of just that, of just single vegan cooking.
Would be very interesting.
Yeah, we got a lot on our plates already, but we
That's true. That's awesome. So if someone's just starting to get interested in the whole idea of being a vegan, what are some easy ways that they can start changing their kitchen around? What are some staples that they should probably start including in their diet?
Go for it. Okay. We're talking swaps here. It's really easy to make some very quick swaps. We would recommend an almond milk instead of a cow's milk to start.
Yeah, there's a 40 calorie per cup almond milk out there, and that is like
delicious.
It's going to do the trick.
Yeah, and also just replacing butter with Earth Balance or other heart-healthy oils like a refined coconut oil, which means it doesn't have any taste or smell like a coconut. It's just a great high heat oil that's actually a weight loss tool because the fat molecules in the oil stick to other fat molecules in your body and take it out with it. So a lot of people are afraid of coconut oil, but a lot of the bad studies were done on hydrogenated oil as opposed to regular coconut oil.
Gotcha. Now, is there a difference? Does the refined coconut oil have the same benefits as the unrefined?
Yeah, so the refined just means deodorized, really. So it just doesn't smell or taste like a coconut, and it's higher heat, and you can use it in a variety of ways. So we really love that as a cooking oil. It doesn't leave things greasy. It leaves things really crispy, and it's a great swap. And then also just thinking about your plate differently, not thinking about your plate as a protein, a carb, a vegetable. I mean, thinking about your meals as incorporating protein like beans and grains and veggies, and you don't have to think about separating your plate the same way. And it takes a little retraining of your mind, but I mean, when you think about it, get comfortable with eating beans. The more you eat them, the easier they are to digest.
Exactly.
Just embrace it. And there's so many great tricks.
Also, one thing we hear over and over and over is, I can never give up cheese. Right. We've heard it, I mean, honestly, I can't even count in the thousands of times. And there are some great substitutes. We work with a company called Go Veggie that make amazing vegan shreds, mozzarella in a Mexican style. So if you want a pizza, if you want a quesadilla, if you want a grilled cheese, you can still have it. And, that is something that we really encourage people to do. There are some really, really solid substitutions that melt, that taste like cheese. I'm not saying that they're exact, but
when you go for so long without cheese, it's kind of like if you go without a Coke and then you taste one and it's, it's like, oh gosh. And if you go without cheese for so long, you kind of forget. So when you have the substitute, it does taste the same, because you've forgotten
the vegan cheese that we work with on a regular basis is really high in calcium, so that's also a concern that comes up. And so we really encourage people to think about what it is that they love in their life and then do some research to find out about the swaps so that they can still have it. And that's going to keep them satiated. They're going to want to stick with it longer.
And there's even resources if you live in a more rural area. There's a box called Vegan Cuts where you can get all these amazing things sent to your home, or you can order online so that you're not feeling left out if you don't have a Whole Foods nearby or a natural market that you can go to. So there's a lot of resources out there
for sure. What are some of your thoughts on soy? Are you big on like tofu, soy milk? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, We are not scared of eating soy. We love it. We embrace it. We know that everything in moderation, but we think that it's very healthy to incorporate on a regular basis, as long as you are eating organic soy, ideally U.S.-grown soybeans, non-GMO soy, of course, and in its natural form. So we'll eat more soy-based products like miso or tempeh or tofu, things like that. But yeah, we encourage people to consume soy in their diet. We encourage them also to vary their diet with a bunch of different things so that they're not going overboard.
Right.
But
it's sort of like you wouldn't eat ice cream for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You shouldn't eat tofu for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But,
exactly.
in moderation, absolutely. And, soy has been consumed for thousands of years amongst some of the healthiest populations in the world. So, there's a lot of misinformation about soy and tofu that we try to dispel every day of our lives.
Right. I actually don't eat tofu. I do eat tempeh. I'm a big believer in fermented soy. Yeah. Have you guys come across, I've been looking for it everywhere, fermented tofu?
No, we haven't, but I know that there are certain types of fermented tofu that you can get in China. It's called furry tofu.
Can't get that here.
Yeah, it's a different kind of
the furry is the mold.
The furry, yeah, it's the cultures that are grown on the tofu. It's pretty wild. So that does exist, but I think that it hasn't quite crossed cultures yet.
Right. Do you mind, just because I kind of brought it up, explaining the difference between fermented and unfermented for those listening?
Yeah, so actually tempeh is technically cultured.
Okay.
So basically you take the soybeans and you put these rhizomes on the soybeans if you're making tempeh, and they allow this bacteria to grow. It's delicious, by the way, for anyone listening, it's delicious bacteria. And they form a kind of layer over these soybeans, and they press it into these cakes. And that creates a beneficial probiotic on the soybean, and it's also a whole soybean, so that you can digest it much easier. And it also has a really nutty flavor.
Yeah, it's sort of like when you consume probiotics in yogurt. People think that you can only get this from cow's milk yogurt. Totally not true. You can get probiotics from a lot of different cultured foods, including tamari and all sorts of things. So yeah, it's sort of a pre-digested type of food, so it's really easy on the body. Whereas sometimes people have trouble digesting tofu. Other people won't have trouble digesting tempeh.
Gotcha. And I agree. It's very nutty, and you can even like grind it up to make meatballs and burgers. And I mean, to us, it's the go-to. I have nothing on the menu. You grab the temp, slice it up, throw it on a salad, and you're good to go.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
One of the things I have a nutritionist as a friend. So when I first started thinking about becoming a vegan, I kind of talked to her. She knows how athletic and into fitness I am, so I wanted to make sure I didn't need to do necessarily anything specific. And she had recommended that I get on a vitamin B specific supplement. Are there any vitamin B sources in a vegan diet where you don't have to eat meat to get that?
Yeah, I mean, they're fortifying tons of products with vitamin B, especially B12. We do eat nutritional yeast on a regular basis because that has a ton of your B vitamins in there, and it has a cheesy flavor. So we'll sprinkle it on toast with avocado, or we'll put it on a salad, or we'll make a cheese sauce with it like a mac and cheese.
I mean, tofu and soy milk and all sorts of products are being fortified right now. But yes, you still can get your B vitamins from plant sources. Like we said, we actually don't take any nutritional supplements. We get our B12 and other vitamins checked. We get our blood checked regularly, and we've never had a deficiency. So we know you can definitely do it. The key is diversifying the things that you eat. Yeah. We don't eat the same thing every day. We really change it up. We change up our sweeteners. We change up our salts. We change up every component to our diet to make sure we're getting a variety of minerals and vitamins and nutrients.
Yeah, and even like yogurt is a great source. Vegan yogurt is amazingly fortified with all these vitamins, and it tastes really good. So that's a really good resource to get your B vites.
What's your favorite brand of vegan yogurt? Because there's a lot out there now.
Tough one.
That's a tough one. We like whole soy.
Yeah,
we really do.
And the Almond Dream almond yogurt's really good too.
That one's actually really good to put into popsicle molds and freeze.
Yeah, I can only.
That actually is really good. Well, that's some great information. And Heather, I'm glad that you brought it up. You mentioned salt as a mineral, which I don't think a lot of people think about. I think they just think about it as something to sprinkle on top of their food. But one of your videos, you guys talked about unbleached sea salt. And that was something I've never paid any attention to whatsoever. So what exactly is, what's the difference between unbleached and bleached?
So basically, that's what it is. It's demineralized salt versus salt that has minerals in it. So salt, when it comes out of the earth naturally, has tons of minerals. This one company we work with, Redmond Trading Company, their salt is from Utah, and it has over 60. Wow. It has over 60 different minerals in the salt. Now, a regular conventional salt company will demineralize their salt using different chemical processes so that it's more shelf stable. There are anti-caking agents because in this country we like everything to look really perfectly white and uniform for baking and things like that.
Yeah, and so what happens is it just gives your food a salty flavor, but it literally has been bleached using bleach. So the minerals are taken out, and then you basically can use the sea salt in your body to give you, a huge mineral boost, and it's very healthy for your body to have good salt. There have been studies shown that you don't have to go on a low salt diet for different conditions high blood pressure if you eat sea salt. So
and it's been known to actually reverse some of those problems when you transfer over to eating sea salt that hasn't been bleached. For people get a little confused, they think that kosher salt, there's a whole thing. So basically, if your salt has any color to it, it hasn't been bleached.
Sticky a little bit.
Yeah, a little sticky to the touch. If it has any color to it, it hasn't been demineralized.
The ingredient should only be sea salt. That's it. And if it has an anti-caking agent as the ingredient also, then don't buy that one.
Interesting. Now, I'm a big... I like to run. I'm a big runner. So you hear a lot about runners taking electrolyte supplements or more specifically salt tablets. So would it make more sense? This would probably be a better option to pour into like your water and stuff when you're trying to rehydrate your electrolytes because you're also getting that extra boost of minerals and vitamins.
Yeah,
we are not runners. Okay, we prefer to lay on the couch.
I'm just putting the science together.
Yes, and
but we have heard from people that are athletes that they do that, and they do use sea salt after an exercise to replenish their electrolytes. But we don't know how much quantity you need or anything like that, and we do prefer to. We are not runners. So.
No, I'm definitely going to have to look more into that.
It's definitely worth looking into, absolutely.
There are a lot of resources out there.
Okay, cool. Do you guys, can you give some, what about zinc? Because zinc's another thing that you get a lot of times from animal products. What are some good zinc found naturally in plant life?
Maple syrup.
Really?
And we're not talking like Aunt Jemima's. We're talking like real deal maple syrup has a ton of zinc and manganese and all sorts of really great immune boosting minerals and vitamins.
And pine nuts, huge boost of zinc. They were actually known as an aphrodisiac back in the day.
Ooh.
Them that they were
they gave you a boost of energy, which is really the definition of an aphrodisiac.
Yeah. Right. Those are a great resource. They also make you feel satiated after you eat them for longer, so putting them in a salad is a really great way to add that zinc into your diet, and we really love them.
Okay, that's a great idea. That's definitely something I had not known before. Now, I know I'm not alone on this. When I first went vegan, I love to cook. I've always liked cooking. But when I first went vegan, it was kind of like, well, here are some beans on one side of the plate and asparagus. And I remember my husband being like, oh my God, I can't, this isn't going to cut it for me. We've got to learn how to have meals again. What are some tips, like some basic tips to create an actual meal?
I'm going to grab our cookbook while my sister
yes, and then we're going to talk about that as well.
So gosh, if that's what you were learning from and that was your initial attempt, good for you, because I'm sure your repertoire has changed since then.
Yes.
And I'm very happy, right? Everybody has to start somewhere. So if you have a few meals of beans and asparagus, so be it. But for creating a meal, we like to think of balance. I mean, think of what balance is, well in your body, and think of what satisfies your palate. It's a mixture of crunchy and soft and sweet and salty and vinegary. And you want to satisfy yourself, or else you're going to feel deprived.
Right.
So that's how we really think of food, satisfying your palate on so many levels. And Heather grabbed our cookbook here to show you some examples.
So, instead of just beans on a plate, we created Southwest black bean and corn mini burgers with a smoky paprika cheese.
Oh, delicious.
So we're taking beans, we're making it into a delicious veggie burger. We're topping it with cashew cheese.
We're shoving veggies in the patty so that you're getting more of your veggies in there. And you can serve that over a salad if you don't want to have the bun. And it's a great high protein, really balanced meal. And we love those. We eat them all the time.
And for men who love to eat and love comfort foods, because we hear it all the time, I'm worried that when I go vegan, I'm going to be starving all the time.
Right.
We, things like pot pie, or people who just really want the comfort food. We have like mac and cheese and, pretty much anything that you love.
Right.
I think is maybe in this book. We'll see.
That's actually, I love that. That's actually, I think that people forget that, but as I've progressed with my own veganism, that's what I keep in mind. I look at my husband and go, what are you craving next week? And it might be something like lasagna or meatballs, but you can create a vegan meal for every single non-vegan recipe. And that's what people need to, I think, realize. So I love that.
You're a great wife. Let me just say that.
Yeah.
He is a very lucky man.
Very nice of you. That's very nice of you. And I think that challenge is so fun. And there's so many great resources out there to just make those transitions, those little transitions, like using the tempeh for meatballs or sausages. We have a great tempeh sausage in our book. It's so satisfying, and it comes with a gravy. So you don't have to feel like you're giving up on all those things you love.
Exactly. Now tell us more about the cookbook. What's it? It's called Spork Fed, right? There it is. Beautiful. And when did it just come out recently?
It came out about a year and a half ago. The foreword was written by Emily and Zoe Deschanel, actress sisters, and we really wanted sisters to write the foreword to our book. They both have different ways in which they eat, but we really wanted these recipes to be able to bring families together regardless of, any sort of intolerances or, if you're vegan or not. This book is meant for people who are cooking for people that are non-vegans. These recipes have been tested over and over in our classes and, personally, so that we're making sure that we're satisfying everyone at the table.
Yeah, so one of the aspects that we like is this suggested menu section, which awesome. I don't know if you can see there.
There we go.
So basically, we pair together the meals. So we suggest menus that will go together, whether it's my party and I'll cook if I want to, or holiday meals, or of course comfort food and
or
things
gluten-free.
Like that. Yeah, we have gluten. We have a light and healthy meal. We even have a throwback to the 50s. Sometimes you want to Betty Crocker it out. And we have a creamy tomato soup, and we thicken that with a potato. So compared to a traditional creamy soup that's thickened with heavy cream, which is 80 grams of saturated fat a cup, then you're using potato. I mean, it's going to be a lot lighter.
And does the cookbook include breakfast, lunch, dinner, desserts, everything that you need?
Brunch. Yeah, we have a brunch section. We have appetizers, soups, salads, mains, a whole shebang.
Dessert.
The whole shebang.
Yes.
Fabulous. Did you guys do your own photography for it?
We had a photographer do our photography, and we had a food stylist, but we made all the food. It was totally edible, and we ate like crazy during the process of making this.
A lot. Well, congratulations, you guys. That's awesome.
Thank you.
For sure. And I'll make sure to put a link and everything. Where can you find it? I'm sure on Amazon. And I know I've already seen it on your website.
Yeah.
I'm going to pull up your website on the video. So it's a beautiful website, sporkfood.com. Tell a little bit more of what you guys do over out in San Francisco.
We're actually in West Hollywood. We're in Los Angeles.
Oh, but you're from San Francisco.
No, I went to school in San Francisco.
Okay.
And I went to school in Santa Cruz, so very close by.
So yeah, we've owned Spork Foods for about 6 years. It's a vegan cooking school, and we do more than just teach home cooks, which we do every weekend. We will be hired to train chefs. We'll go to UCLA and train their top 30 chefs. We'll be sent to a resort. We're going to Mexico to train some chefs at Auberge Resort.
Oh, amazing.
We do cooking demos at Kaiser Permanente and Sony Pictures. So corporations hire us to do team building or, just inspire their employees to be healthier.
Great. How did you guys come up with this idea?
We always wanted a business where first it's twofold. One, we wanted to have lunch together every day. We're sisters and we love eating lunch together. That was our goal. And then another thing was that we wanted to empower people to take their health and their cooking into their own hands. Because we feel like that's the best way to, allow what we're doing to have a ripple effect. So we didn't necessarily want a restaurant where you just want the food fast and quick and, just get it out there. We wanted people to understand what their food is, what they're eating, and how to make it for themselves and their friends and family. Because if they're cooking vegan food that tastes delicious, people are going to start to think that vegan food tastes delicious.
Exactly.
And we put a lot of pressure on our students. We say to them, it is now your job to make this taste good and show the world that this tastes good.
Right.
So this has become, our kind of pressure. We're putting it on you. Do a great job for us. But also we teach online classes. So anyone in the world can take our classes at sporkonline.com. We have people traveling from Japan, all over Australia,
Canada.
pretty much all over the world to take our classes. So we brought our classes to everyone via the web.
That's amazing. I love that. That's something I might have to check out.
Totally.
That sounds fabulous. I had another question. I just got really excited by the online class. So what else do you guys have going on? Anything else new coming up in the works?
We're very busy with all that stuff.
It sounds like you guys are very busy.
And then keeping up with our regularly scheduled classes. We're very excited. We have a partnership with Go Veggie, as we were saying before, which is vegan. They make vegan cheese shreds and amazing vegan cream cheese and Parmesan. So we do a lot of videos for them and recipe development. So we're really excited about some of the videos coming out.
And we travel for them. We do big trade shows. So we're going out to New Orleans for PMA, which is a produce show. We're going to cook for tens of thousands of people out in New Orleans. So that's coming up. And, we're constantly creating recipes for them. Shooting our videos and just creating in the kitchen, just working really hard to create dishes that make us happy and hopefully make everyone else happy too.
That's very inspirational. Is the y'alls? Everyone always makes fun of me with the y'all, but
I love that.
Is everyone vegan now?
Yeah, everybody's vegan now.
Yeah. Was that a hard transition for your parents and everything?
Our mom has always been really supportive, and our parents jumped on the train a few years back, and they've been amazing advocates for veganism. I mean, our dad is, in his 70s, and he talks to all his guy friends about it, and he's from Brooklyn, so it's not coming from a young person, it's coming from someone who is, his age and has his background, so people love hearing his story about being vegan.
And, he has this boys' night out group. Okay, they all go out on Thursday nights and drink and eat. And he's the only one that's getting a veggie burger. And he's also the only one that's really healthy.
Yeah.
So sometimes his friends are like, I should probably be eating that veggie burger. And in fact, he went to the doctor recently and the doctor said, if all my clients ate like this, I would be out of business.
Wow.
He's the doctor's healthiest client. So
that's awesome.
It's working really well for him.
Well, that's great. That's something that I keep trying to slowly push onto my Southern family, but
have your parents call our parents.
I think I need to. Because that's something they're not quite embracing yet. They're still wanting the fried chicken, but that's what happens around here. Well, I know that you guys are getting short on time. Every time that I do a podcast, I try to end with what's called our favorite section. Basically, I just throw out a couple of questions and just the first thing that pops into your mind.
Okay.
You guys ready?
Yeah.
All right.
Does it have to be time? That might
No, you don't know.
Good, actually.
I'm about to say, you'll probably say the same thing. Favorite vegan makeup line?
Gosh. so hard. We like different things from different companies. We
All right, how about
one.
lotion?
Lotion. Alba is like one of our favorite brands for face wash, lotions.
We've been using Sun Chlorella, what is
Cream.
it? Cream
Mm-hmm.
on our face lately, which has been really incredible. But Alba is sort of our go-to face wash and creams and vegan line.
And that's actually available in most just grocery stores.
Yeah.
Very cool. Favorite vegan dessert?
Oh man. Wow.
It's like choosing between your children.
That we make or that we buy?
We're the worst at this
First one
game.
that you make.
Probably our tiramisu, don't you
Tiramisu,
think?
yeah, that's one that gets requests over and over.
I gotta
that's
say, your
in the-
caramel sauce looks really good too.
Oh.
All right, the best vegan dessert bought.
In LA, one of our favorite things is actually donuts, which are vegan baked donuts. That's why
Ooh.
they're.
And you know
And-
today or tomorrow is donut day.
Oh, so we'll have to go there.
There you go.
It's gonna be like they have like a coconut passion fruit donut that I just go bananas.
It's a gluten-free donut also, so that's fun.
Amazing.
Let's see, favorite dinner or comfort food.
Wow.
I think probably our mac and cheese.
Yeah, mac and cheese.
That's a classic.
It's a classic.
Yeah, we do it
It's
Southern
delicious.
style baked,
There
with
you
the breadcrumbs. Legit stuff.
Sometimes we truffle it up. You never
Yeah.
know.
We're getting fancy.
There you go. That's what I like to hear. Let's see. Favorite. What did I have on here? Favorite. Shake recipe. Your favorite fruits or vegetables to put into a shake.
We love a really nice date and cinnamon shake.
Oh.
So we'll do bananas, some really like gooey dates, some cinnamon, almond milk, some ice. What else do we put in there?
like that, and then some
Sometimes
some
some
almonds or
coconut
pecans.
shreds.
Yeah, almonds,
Yeah.
pecans, or coconut.
Mhm.
Just simple, and it tastes like a milkshake.
That sounds amazing.
Our goal in the morning is to make our smoothie taste like a milkshake, and that's what does the trick.
Yeah.
I love it. That's about my goal as well every day. And then last but not least, I certainly can't stop this podcast without mentioning something about fitness. Your favorite way to stay fit.
We love hiking.
Yeah.
Getting out into the world. We're really not good on machinery. We're very hard to entertain in that regard. So
we-
getting out into the mountains, it actually
clears our minds. We could talk about stuff like life and just,
we've made a lot of business decisions on mountaintops. So it's good for our body and it's good for our mind at the same time.
yeah, and there's some great trails right behind where we work. So
I was just getting ready to say you guys are in the perfect area for that.
Yeah.
In Charleston,
Good.
we don't quite have trails.
Aww.
That's all right. Well, so what's the best way for people to get in touch with you guys? What's your Twitter, Facebook, and I've already mentioned your website over at sporkfoods.com.
Yeah, it's all just Spork Foods. It's connected, one word, on Twitter and Facebook.
Okay.
But yeah.
Yeah, we have emails. I'm Jenny at Spork Food. She's Heather at Spork Food. So
Say hello.
That
We're
makes it
easy.
simple. You guys definitely go check them out. They've got some awesome information, and I'm serious. Their videos have helped educate me just in the past 3 weeks already. So thank you guys so much for your time today.
We really appreciate it. Thank you.
you.